I'll probably do the shotgun first. Use hearing protection, and then I guess we'll just roll. Ooh, a bitch for me though. Let's see how to reload it. Some companies are definitely not my favorite. I will say that. Much like reload drills for these, it's just like shoving shit in it, and there's not really like as much like reload it from this. Fire a few rounds, reload again. Basically just constantly reloading convection shotguns. That's why I do not love it. Nothing more satisfying. Also, if you put it in the other way, you're just wrong. I swear to God, shot shells will fall out if you like put them the other way around. Oh my God, so annoying. Okay. Reload. Then maybe I'm gonna like let me put this back. It looks much cooler with these down, but by God, is it hard to see out of them. They're now like fogged and ice. Let's do it. You ready? I'll like fire 2 rounds here, go over there. Pattern and the fact that you have to like hold the shotgun like this. It's like when my hand comes back, it just like hits this mic and just jams it into my fucking mouth. Gosh damn. I hate shotguns sometimes. I like how these are just target loads, but they're black shells. I find that interesting because typically, fun fact, black shells are 10 gauge. So, yeah. Typically, the red should be 12 gauge. think that's the only reason to love the 12 gauge shotgun right there.
Alright guys, so we are finally back. From the woods doing an after action report on the Mossberg 590A1 and kind of ultimately discussing why you can't kill a 590A1 or a pump action shotgun. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is, one, I have a 590A1, and two, I find them very interesting, but three, I'm very fascinated with the pump action shotgun because while I do not think this is the most viable, and I don't necessarily think that, you know, everyone going into tactical conflict or everyone should necessarily have a shotgun, I do think they have a lot of purposes that I wanted to dig into in a kind of longer format video and kind of show off some of these special abilities that a shotgun has. And I actually really loved the wooded area that I was shooting in yesterday because I think that that is actually a really good use case for the shotgun. Environments that are heavily covered, having something that can spray things like buckshot or kind of your heavier duty loads is actually really good. But anyways, like I've said, another reason why I want to do this video is because the pump action shotgun is, to me, a very fascinating weapon platform or firearm platform because of the reason that as firearm technology has increased and evolved, you know, a lot of our rifles are very high speed, very low drag, and one of the few weapon platforms that really hasn't actually changed that much since its inception is the pump action shotgun. And you know, some of the first original real combat shotguns like the Winchester 1897, of course, as the name implies, was made in 1897. And so, you know, as far as weapons being used in conflict today, outside of maybe something like the Mosin Nagant begrudgingly being used, realistically, the pump action shotgun is one of the few weapon platforms that really has not evolved. You know, once again, fighting rifles have changed drastically, submachine guns have changed drastically, and a lot of weapon platforms have evolved very quickly, but the pump action shotgun really has not changed that much. And realistically, about some of the only changes to the pump action shotgun from a tactical or a fighting stance has just been to make it more robust. So once again, things like the 1897 were some of the first, you know, pump action shotguns to really be fielded, and the biggest changes from that shotgun to a shotgun like the 590 is really just making it more robust. So you can see that, you know, it's just overall beefed up, heavier duty, and a stronger, more durable shotgun. And already the pump action shotgun is a very hard shotgun to kill, but something like the 590 is darn near impossible to kill. And the other thing that I really do like about things like the 590 especially, things like the 500, the 870, is the barrier to entry is very low on these. And this is why, one reason I will say, not to say, like I said, this isn't the most practical fighting gun out there in the world, but to its credit, the 590 is actually, for a tactical gun, probably one of the cheapest as far as rugged, reliable, you know, like you can buy a high point, you know, press it into service, but as far as an actual fighting platform goes, the 590 is about as cheap as it gets. You can get these things for $500-$600 and have a really formidable platform. Now, once again, it's not going to be able to do everything perfectly, but it really is quite a decent platform as far as it goes. Now, why is this thing still relevant even in 2025? There's a whole bunch of reasons, in my opinion, personally for that, and I think partly that is the ammo options. And so once again, you guys saw me running some of essentially something very similar to this yesterday, and running the double-aught buckshot. Now this, in my opinion, is probably, if I was genuinely, you know, out working in that kind of environment tactically, this is probably what I would run. And what this actually is similar to buckshot, but this is quad-aught buckshot. So this is a number 4 pellet, and number 4s are a 0.24 inch, so they're around, you know, a 223-556 sized pellet. But what makes these things pretty freaking crazy is, hopefully you guys can see here, each shell has 41 hopefully. Not really sure how to get this in focus, but these things have 41 pellets in one of these shot shells. So you have roughly 41 pellets of 22 caliber, and they're all going, what is it, 1210, so 1,210 feet per second in a 3-inch Magnum shell. So that is a lot of firepower. Now, your traditional double-aught buckshot is going to be 9mm roughly, or 38 caliber pellets, which is also still nothing to shake a stick at. But this, in my opinion, is probably what I would go for because of the fact that once again you're going from 9mm caliber or 9 mil projectiles all the way up to 41 22 essentially sized caliber, technically 24, but 22 caliber, roughly 5.56, size shells projectiles. And so in a wooded area, once again, being able to just throw your gun up, get a rough sight on your target, fire, and have that spray is going to be very effective. And the other reason why I like this is because, once again, in a wooded area, if you fire just a single projectile from a rifle, that can be dislodged, it can go into a piece of wood, it can, go off course and miss the target. And granted, spraying and praying is kind of what the shotgun does, but it does it very effectively. And having 8 rounds of this is pretty crazy, because having 8 rounds of each one having, 41 pellets that are roughly 24 inches, 0.24 inches, I just can't English today, is a lot of firepower, especially when we can see how fast you can get shots off with a shotgun like this. That is one of the huge advantages to this. Now, once again, you can also step this up to something like traditional, double-aught buckshot, and And the biggest advantage of double-aught buckshot is that it really helps extend the range. So quad-aught buckshots would definitely be better and far more lethal at closer ranges or in wooded environments. Double-aught buckshot is going to help extend your range, but it is also very formidable in close range engagements. Both quad-aught and double-aught buckshot are something that is incredibly effective at close range engagements. And the next point is that, if you want to step it out, you do some more, long range engagements, you can step up to some very crazy, very nice shotgun shells. Like these are Bernicke maximum barrier penetration. These were actually designed for LAPD to shoot at engine blocks, to actually knock out engine blocks. And these are incredible because what I really like about the maximum barrier penetration slugs is that their muzzle energy, muzzle velocity. So velocity is 1650 and muzzle energy is 3,545 pound-feet of energy. Now, does that taper off fairly quick? Yes, so do keep that in mind. But even at 100 meters, this thing's still packing essentially 1,300 pound-feet of energy, which to those who may be like, it's nothing, that is still essentially what a 5.56 carries as far as energy goes at 100 meters too. So this is definitely something that even if you get hit at 100 meters, you're still going to be regretting being hit by that slug. So if you want to step out the combat effectiveness of a shotgun like this, once again, slugs are the way to go. So aside from that, I'd say really the last big reason why we're seeing a resurgence of shotguns in modern conflict is, of course, drone, anti-drone purposes. And that's where I feel like something like this shotgun really excels. Maybe, like I said, not having everyone in a squad, but maybe one shotgun to a squad is a legitimate thing, is due to just anti-drone abilities that shotguns have. Once again, you can fire these very quickly so long as you practice, you're skilled, you're proficient. You can fire pump action shotguns like this very quickly. You can have 9 rounds of 12 gauge in this particular shotgun, 8 in the tube, 1 in the mag, and you can let a lot of birdshot out very quickly, and that can help shoot down things like drones. So once again, it's not a perfect system for that type of situation, but it's about the best we have. So that is some of the biggest reasons why I really think the pump action shotgun just can't be killed. Now, are there other alternatives out there? Certainly, I do like my Mola Vepr that you guys will be seeing here more shortly, and I do intend to do a video on that. And I think that something like a magazine-fed shotgun, even if it is a pump action, is probably the realistic future of shotguns, because you can make them smaller without reducing their magazine capacity, because a tubular magazine, of course, the shorter the barrel, the smaller the magazine has to be, obviously. So there are functional limitations of the pump action shotgun, but as far as it goes, it is very hard to kill them. They are very simple machines, very simple creatures, and they work very well. So anyways, hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video on the 590A1 and why pump action shotguns really haven't changed and why they are just so darn effective. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. As always, God bless, and I'm out.